Hey, how's it going, guys? I know it's been a while, but I guess I'm back. Today we're gonna talk about this. It's Night Provision's new taillight. It's the Proton R60. Just a full disclosure, my opinions might be a little biased because I am sponsored by these, I guess. Yeah. They actually sent me this light to test out a few months ago, and so I thought I'd give you my thoughts on these. But yeah, just a full disclosure, I am sponsored by them. I run all their headlights, and they've seen me through 3 everythings at this point. So yeah. So anyways, this thing. I've had this light for a few months. I've ran it on mixed terrain rides and road rides. I have not been able to test it on those ultra endurance 24-hour, 48-hour rides, which I used to do, because, well, my fitness has gone to shit, and I just started getting back into downhill free ride stuff again. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyways, so this thing is a pretty sick light. It's a tail light with an accelerometer in it, so it actually detects movement and like change in movement forces, I guess. Like, I'm not a scientist or an engineer, but it does really cool stuff. So it runs, there are 3 modes, or I guess 4 modes. So when you hold the button, you turn it on, it clicks on one mode, and it's usually, I think this is the 5 lumen one, and then if you click it again, it flashes at 5 lumens. And you click it again, it runs at 15 lumens. You click it again, it flashes at 15 lumens. We're back to 5 lumens. Flashing 5, 15, flashing 15. And you can see this thing is pretty bright. It's ridiculous. Even in the daylight, look at that. It's so bright, it's ridiculous. But anyways, this thing has an accelerometer in it. So on the solid modes like that, what happens is that it's on smart mode when it's on solid mode. So if I move, like I guess like I'm not on a bike right now, so it doesn't really know. But if I slow down all of a sudden, if I brake all of a sudden, oh, like that, it thinks I'm braking, boom, it turns on to 60 lumens for 5 seconds, and it goes back to whatever setting. I think that's 5 lumens. So I'm moving, and change speed, like, immediately. Boom, it thinks I just changed speeds, boom. Now it's back to 60 lumens, and we're back to 5 lumens. So this thing is pretty sick. So it works if your bike's not moving and you get going, boom, it'll turn on. Or if your bike is moving at some speed and then all of a sudden it stops, or you have sudden braking movement, the light turns on, so it acts like a brake light, which is pretty cool. It comes out of this little box, which I actually thought was really, really, really cool. Yeah. Comes out of, oh, you hold it again to turn it off. But it comes out of this box, which I thought was really cool. It's a really simple box. Looks like it's made out of recycled paper, which is cool. Good for the environment. Boom. And what I already emptied it. But what it comes with is the light, this rubber strap which goes in your seat post, and you can change how tight you want stuff are. This rubber thing which I glued on there, which comes with the light. So because I'm using a round post, I'm using this. It comes with an arrow seat post adapter. So if you don't glue that thing in there, there are actual grooves in there for it to sit in there. And then that goes in an arrow seat post. It comes, let's put that back in there, micro USB cable, and some literature. This thing right here basically just tells you that it passed quality control. I was kind of hoping that was a sticker. Unfortunately, it isn't. And then it basically does this stuff, like instructions and stuff. So anyways, back to this light. So we already talked about the whole slowing down brake light thing, right? Is it on? There we go. Just takes a while to like figure out. So we already talked about, there we go. we already talked about that whole brake light situation. So I can't really tell you how well that works on a bicycle because it's under my butt and I can't see it, and I would rather look at the road if I'm like under heavy braking. But one feature which I really, really like on this is because it's a smart light, it actually turns itself off after 2 minutes of not moving. So if you guys have ever been on those long rides where you're, I don't know, 80 miles in and then you need to stop for actual food as opposed to video game food like gels or bars, you actually need real food, or you stop into a bar, you're tired, you need some carbs, you bring your bike in, there's indoor bike parking, sweet, and you just leave your bike in there, and it's solid. And then you forget to turn off your light sometimes, and it's just blinking, or it's on the whole time you're eating at the bar. It's running your battery dry, which kind of sucks because you kind of need that light for the next 80 miles or whatever to get to the next stop or whatever, right? This thing, if it does not move for 2 minutes, it turns itself off, which I thought was a really, really cool feature. There's been way too many times where I forget to turn my rear light off. Yeah. So that's going to turn off by itself at some point. So while that does that, let's take a look at the literature real quick. Basically tells you how to strap it on and whatnot. But over here it does tell you basically how long these things last for. You can pause the screen if you want to. But it basically says that 15 lumens, continue in the smart mode, it's 4 hours, flashing in 15 lumens, 15 hours. 5 lumens in smart mode, 12 hours, 5 lumens flashing, 30 hours. And then the brake light is 60 lumens. So bright as shit, lasts for a really long time. So claimed, I don't know if they last for that long, because once again, I have not been doing any ultra endurance rides. Hopefully I'll get another Everesting in this year, and I'll put this light to get use on that. But till then. But yeah, this light is pretty solid. The times I've used it, I thought people could definitely see me because it's bright. I'm still waiting for this thing to turn off. It will at some point, and you'll see it, and boom. But yeah, it's bright. It works. It's super easy to put on and off without like any screws or anything. The rubber band mount is actually really solid. It doesn't jiggle or anything. Construction looks pretty darn solid too. Yeah, been pretty happy with it. Come on, light. It's been 2 minutes yet? Turn off. But yeah, been pretty happy with all these night Provision products. This light is pretty cool. I really like the 2-minute turn off feature, which I'm still waiting to show you. Off. Off. Turn off. Turn off. You can do it. But anyways, yeah, I like their lights. I like their headlights a lot. Oh, there we go, just turned off. So it thinks we're at the bar, we're eating, and we forgot to turn off our light. Boom. And then we move our bike. Boom, it turns back on. Just like that. Oh, it thinks we're braking apparently. Yeah, and in 2 minutes, 5 seconds, and it goes back to regular, and then in 2 minutes it's going to turn off again. And then to turn it off for reals, you just hold that button, and it turns off. Construction, as you can see, is actually pretty good. It doesn't feel cheap or anything, like some lights can feel. This thing actually feels really, really solid. Once again, I can't comment on how long the battery life actually lasts. I can't really comment about how well they last in crazy conditions like rain and mud and stuff either, because I haven't done that yet. But if they're anything like my other night Provision lights, I think they'll be just fine. Anyways, Proton R60, night Provision Proton R60. Highly recommend checking these out. Once again, I might be biased, but I also highly recommend checking out their headlights. I've ran their night Provision, the Night Pro 1600 lumen lights, and those are amazing. I feel comfortable enough doing downhill runs without a headlight with one of those on the handlebars. That should be saying something. I mean, sure, if I want to make corners, I want a headlight, but usually, like, if it's just plow through, the 1600 lumen light is enough on medium mode, not even high mode, which is like 800 lumens. Stay tuned. I'm actually going to make a video of one of those, of a downhill run with those lights on at some point. But till then, check these guys out. Night Provision. Write a comment, shoot me an email, shoot them an email. If you got any questions, chances are Evan, the owner, will answer your email himself, which is really cool. They're local right here in San Francisco, right in the Richmond. Yeah.